sure there'd be plenty of people that said it didn't flex. A lot of people nonplussed by it, I'm sure.
We're going to be talking the return of the Premier League shortly. Arsenal decimated ahead of the trip to Spurs. Alfie's going to be with us to talk Chelsea and a bit more on Harry Kane. And we'll also hear from Villa star Morgan Rogers, your boy Dan, after his brace for England's under-21s. Let's get into the Premier League returning now, because it's Spurs against Arsenal, and the Arsenal fans are having a meltdown, right? And they're missing a few players, and I get it. Declan Rice being out is a big problem, and I know Odegaard is so influential. He's the Arsenal captain. But me personally, I just feel like they'll be all right. It's the first of 3 tricky away games, really, really difficult away games. You know, Spurs in itself, Atalanta away, that's not easy. Ask Liverpool about that, and Manchester City away. So could this define their season this early if they were on the wrong end of these 3 results?
I think they're probably quite grateful Man City's at the end of that stretch. Might give them the time to get at least 1 or 2 back in time for that game. Because let's face it, that game is absolutely vital. Every game for Arsenal is vital, because you just know City will accumulate a lot of points, like they always do. But I think Arsenal have changed. I don't think they're the kind of club now that can get pulled into a crisis, even if they were to lose a couple of games. Let's say they lost to Man City and they lost the Champions League game. I still don't think that would necessarily be a crisis for Arsenal now, because they've shown a lot more resilience over the last few years. They've got a lot of experience that they've built up in the bank now off the back of what they've achieved over the last couple of seasons. I just think they're a different monster to the Arsenal that people might say still exists. I don't think they'll be a crisis. Look, they've got injuries there. Arsenal fans have got every right to be worried about those injuries. To get 3 injuries in the same area is very, very unfortunate. But I still think they've got enough within that team, and they've got the mentality now to go to Spurs and win, even if those 3 are all missing.
Well, the interesting thing about the Premier League side of this, though, is that, all right, they're 2 points behind Manchester City. And I'm only saying this because we know the fine margins that it comes down to when you go toe-to-toe with City, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they don't beat Spurs, like maybe even if they drew, drop 2 more points, say 4 points off City, assuming they win on the weekend, they probably will.
Brentford have been there and won before.
Yeah,
Flex.
true, but that was just before the World Cup, I think it was. I
yes, it was the last game,
yeah,
I think.
I remember that. Yeah, Tony scored. I can't see that happening.
No, not that. Although Mbeumo is on absolute fire, by the way.
Yeah, he is, but I can't see it, mate. I can't see it, right?
Agreed.
So let's just say, and I'm only painting this sort of pessimistic cup for Arsenal, right? They're already 2 points behind. Let's say they're 4 points behind because they drew against Spurs. Yeah. Then the next game in the Premier League is then Man City. Let's say they lose. Mate, it could be 7. You can't afford to be 7 points behind City, even this early.
No, you can. I guess that's the thing over the last few years, is that they've never been chasing City. Maybe it'll be a nice change of pace for them to actually chase City instead of being the ones that are chased down, because they've been chased down the last 2 years and ended up coming second. Maybe they'd like to be the ones doing the chasing for a change.
Everyone always says that City are notoriously slow starters.
Not this season. And everyone used to say, hey, they can't win without Rodri. Oh, they've won 3 games without him this season. So all those kind of things have been bad. So maybe we're looking to switch it up this season, aren't we? With Arsenal maybe doing the chasing. Can
they cope without Rice and Odegaard though?
Yeah,
and how do they do that?
Yeah, look, I think they can still go to Spurs and win. I think there's still enough players to choose from there for Arsenal to come up with an effective game plan to kind of catch Spurs out in a similar way to what they did last season away at that ground. I think I'd be loath to move Havertz, because I think he's been so effective in that number 9 position.
In the left 8, it hasn't worked as well. I think that period of games, I think they did it against. Was it against you? When they lost at Villa, when you went to the Emirates. No, it was when they played around like Fulham, when they lost West Ham, when they lost at home. That's when he hasn't played 8 since.
I'd be more inclined to put Trossard there, perhaps leave Havertz where he is, and then you've got the option of Martinelli or Sterling on the left. I'd be more inclined to do that, because then you've got kind of Jorginho and Partey, who you could maybe ask to do a double pivot, and then Trossard's got a bit more freedom.
I think you probably have to
forward.
go with that. I know he doesn't go with traditional like a 10, but I think you might have to mix up, because like you said, you're looking at Jorginho, whatever it is, being the deepest midfielder. Partey is good enough to play in the right-sided 8. That's what he does anyway. And obviously, if it's actually no, he doesn't, because Declan Rice actually goes forward, doesn't he? But they can interchange with that, the deepest line. And I just think you just put Trossard in there. If not, Zinchenko can play the left 8, comfortably.
Yeah, he's where he drifts into anyway, isn't it?
Exactly. I think
he might be playing left back. Because I think Calafiore went off,
Timber.
and they've also got. I think Timber might have a knock.
well.
I think Timber might have a knock
Maybe it's worse than we thought
as well. But still, I think I think Arsenal have got enough. I really do. And what I think they've got now that they haven't had before to cope with these kind of things is just that mentality. I wouldn't call it a siege mentality, but they've got something about them. Arsenal, they've got that drive now. I don't worry about Arsenal mentally. You know, when like Spurs going about, and everyone will go, "Oh, Spursy." Or the people talk about Manchester United's mentality now, and things like that. I don't see that.
This
with
Arsenal team doesn't just buckle, do they?
No, it's different. They're a big physically strong team, but they're a mentally tough team now as well. Arsenal. There's a lot of resilience in there. I'm not worried for them at all.
I can't see Spurs winning, even with those players out.
No, Norma.
I still see a minimum of an Arsenal draw.
Whatever happens,
at worst,
they've still got that colossal centre-half partnership in Saliba and Gabriel. Ben White does an excellent job at right back.
Saka's doing what he's doing on the right.
Yeah, Saka, their best player.
High line against Spurs.
Arsenal aren't going to ship goals.
No.
They're not going to ship goals in that game, and you'd still back them to score with the talent that they've got on the pitch. Spurs will play the way Spurs play, and incidentally, maybe that will suit Arsenal again. Like they picked them off last year. They really did. They went 3-0 up, didn't they? I think, and ended up winning 3-2.
Yeah, you got a bit roping
in the end. But Arsenal are a tremendous football team now. This is not the Arsenal that people are perhaps thinking that is still there. That Arsenal doesn't exist.
It's gone.
Anymore.
We have to, and as much as when sometimes I want Arsenal to lose.
Of course you do.
I admit, you can't not admit that they're a completely different team.
You won all the 7 teams above you.
Well, there you go, mate. And one of them's you, so you better keep on because we'll be ready. Even if it is with a new manager, who knows? Actually, elsewhere in the Premier League, speaking of other teams, Manchester United taking on Southampton, the 12:30 kickoff this morning on talkSPORT. We can't lose, mate.
How are you feeling? Let's talk about you.
Mate.
How are you? That looks to me like a banana skin.
And
that's got banana skin written all over it.
Do you know what, right? This kicking off the weekend. So we kicked off the Premier League season, all eyes on, at Friday night.
Yeah. Scraped through.
Brighton 12:30, kick off that everyone's watching.
Yeah.
This has that feel, man. And this is, I can't believe I'm saying, no disrespect, Southampton, rock bottom of the league, aren't they?
Yeah, they haven't won a game.
Ain't won a game.
They scored a goal. I don't think they've scored a goal, have they? Or did they score late? I can't remember.
I think they have scored a goal.
They scored a consolation. I think they scored a consolation. Yeah, they scored a consolation late against Brentford.
Conceded 5, scored 1. If Man United get outdone by them, Russell Martin playing out from the back, Kyle Walker-Peters inverting, Aaron Ramsdale playing out either side. Like, if that happens and we look inferior to Southampton, big problems, mate.
It just feels like how South. You could say like at the moment the way Southampton play, and it might play into the opposition's hands. For some reason, I feel like it's the opposite against Manchester United. I think actually that might work,
and that's what I mean. I shouldn't feel this worried going into this game, but I'll be a liar sitting here and telling you that everything's going to be fine. We'll definitely beat them. And look, even people who think Manchester United are awful will be like, surely they'll beat Southampton. No, mate, nothing is guaranteed with this Man United side. We don't know what we're going to get. I'm hoping that they just say it's a blip. Can Ugarte come straight in? I think, is playing against Venezuela tonight. What happens with Casemiro if he can't play? If Ugarte can't play, do you bring in Casemiro?
Southampton will be hoping Casemiro's playing.
Yeah, and Casemiro didn't go to international break, but then knowing him, he can probably just put in a decent performance after that. The front line, Joshua Zirkzee scored for the Netherlands the other day. I don't think he started the next game. But after a disaster class in front of goal against Liverpool, he probably needs some confidence. Apparently, Luke Shaw and Rasmus Højlund could be back in contention, but we still don't know our best teammate.
Does the international break almost make this game harder for Manchester United because they'll have had so many players not there and they haven't had a chance to like that? I'm sure they want to get De Ligt and Martinez playing together on a regular basis and work on that, but then they'll have been away on international duty all week. It just feels like for some reason, I feel like even it just being off the back of an international break, still off the back of 2 defeats in a row as well. It doesn't, all of it just doesn't feel ideal.
When you lose
for Man
like that, when you lose as bad as that, you want the next game really quickly, don't you?
Yeah.
Like a cup game on Tuesday night or something would have been perfect after that Sunday, or just, that Barnsley game, we could have put it forward. he says. But actually, a lot of our players need some minutes, though. I think for Joshua Zirkzee to go away with the national team, get a start, he scored, he got an assist, that will help him. And weirdly, someone like Joshua Zirkzee had a stinker as well. And the irony of him sort of going into camp with Virgil van Dijk, leader of Netherlands as well, he would actually put an arm around and say, listen, don't worry, kid. Like, it would do him well to be around. But didn't listen to that
clip around Van Dijk just ignoring him? I haven't actually seen it. But
what, in the Netherlands camp?
Yeah, in the tunnel. I haven't seen the clip, but I've heard about it.
Oh, what, in the Liverpool game? Or you mean
in the Netherlands game? I think I saw
well,
something.
That just
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Why I think it would be maybe good for
I'll try and find out
to be around him.
But you were saying about you you shouldn't be as worried about this game as you feel. I'm not even taking the mick here.
I should.
Are you worried about it? Do you worry about every game now as a Manchester United fan? Because you mustn't have used to have done when you were younger.
Mate, absolutely. This is what I mean. I have no idea what we're going to do.
Because I've gone the opposite way in my life, where I used to worry about everything, and now I don't really worry about my team.
Yeah,
you must be.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's a new experience for me, but we've kind of switched places, Flex, which I like.
Don't get used to it, because it's going to change. Not soon, but it will change.
Ten Hag, new deal.
You listen to Social on talkSPORT too.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.